can still get a very good stretch on the quads. So I think a regular squat is a lot better, but I guess it's okay too. Just I'm not personally not a fan. What is up, guys? Oh, sorry about that, and welcome back to the channel. I'm back to you today, and we are taking a look at Mike Israetel's top 5 quad exercises. He just posted a video. Well, I say he just posted, it was probably like a week ago, but I already watched his video and I got some thoughts, so can't wait. I would also argue that Mike Israetel's quads and his legs in particular are literally his best body parts. So clearly the guy's doing something right. So let's dive into his quad exercises.
Exercise number 1 is the high bar squat. First of all, what the hell is the high bar squat? It is a deep squat done almost exactly like Olympic weightlifters do the squat. The bar sits very high on your shoulders, really close to your neck. You're gonna pinch your shoulder blades back, keep your chest elevated the entire time. Your foot stance is really up to you. You're gonna push your feet out probably at about a 45-degree angle, plus or minus, however is comfy. You're gonna take a roughly shoulder width stance, though a little bit wider or narrower, based on preference, is totally fine. Staying completely upright, keeping the pressure on your toes and heels at the same time. You are gonna descend by letting your knees come way over your toes and out.
First exercise, high bar squats. I think that is a great exercise. I think something else that you can do to target the quads a little bit more than the glutes is also use weightlifting shoes that have the elevated heels, so that forces you to get that forward lean, getting a little bit more tension on the quads. Personally, when I do free bar squats, I like to do it with the safety squat bar. That's just for the comfort factor. I find that it really starts to pinch up, and I know, whatever. I know I'm that thing that starts with a P that I don't really want to say because I feel like YouTube doesn't like that. But yes, it's a P and cat, so you can fill in the rest. But I think it's a great exercise. Also, he says, high bar squat. A low bar squat is still going to hit the quads as well, but going to engage the glutes a lot more. So first exercise, I think he's bang on. Definitely try and break parallel to get as much stretch on the quads as you can, and your legs are going to grow.
So I began to get jacked quads by doing our next exercise that I love, the sissy squat. I'm sure there's a nomenclatural reason why it's called that. The sissy squat is brutal, especially if you do it with the appropriate machine. You can 100% do this just with some kind of a device for you to hold on, just the bare ground, absolutely. But with a machine, you can get that extra super deep stretch.
Sissy squat, gotta be honest, I'm not really vibing with it. I think it can be a difficult exercise for real bit newbies to learn and stuff. And also, most people anyway don't have the machine that he has to use it, like that leg roller thing. So they're probably going to be having to do it on the ground. And I think it's also a lot harder to progressive overload because it's kind of like your body weight. Yeah, you can hold a plate or whatever, but I don't think sissy squats are going to net you the same results as actual squats. So if you want to do it, I think that's great. I mean, they do have a great stretch on the quads, but when I do squats and shit too, I'm also trying to really engage the glutes as well, to be honest. So I'm trying to get the quads and glutes stimulated. So I just think you're going to get more bang for your buck with a regular squat. I think it's easier progressive overload. You can still get a very good stretch on the quads. So I think a regular squat is a lot better, but I guess it's okay too. Just I'm not personally not a fan.
The hack squat. The hack squat requires, of course, the hack squat machine, but it is a very, very awesome exercise, especially if done right. Many of these exercises are done better for higher repetitions. High bar squats can be done for sets of 5 to 10 very productively, and so can hack squats, but they're adaptable because they can also be done for high reps. The thing with the hack squat that you want to make sure to get the best is you want to bring your heels as far back down on the platform to your butt as you can until they're almost starting to lift at the bottom.
Hack squat, really a fantastic exercise. I would say it's definitely in the argument for the best quad exercise you can do. A lot of gyms have a hack squat, and I think it's great because it's a machine, so it's very easy for beginners. The only thing I will say about some of them, and even the one that he was using in the video, is you may have to add like some platforms or some pads at the bottom, or you can get like some yoga blocks, put it on your shoulder, because some machines don't allow you to get that super deep stretch. So that's the only limitation I can see. Other than that, I think this will absolutely fire up your quads just as good, if not probably better, than a regular high bar squat. So yeah, a lot less. It still does have axial fatigue, but I think that is very diminished in comparison to a regular barbell back squat, because your spinal erectors have to contract a lot harder to keep you, stable, whereas the hack squat, it's a fixed range of motion. So great exercise. Totally agree on him with this one.
Exercise number 4 is going to be the leg press. The leg press is an awesome quad exercise, but most leg presses just aren't that good. We do have in our possession, for the demonstration purposes of this video, the Arsenal leg press, which is goated. And yes, that does mean is ethically sourced, made entirely of goats. If you don't happen to have one of these, you can use some modifiers, which we will show in this video. A big modifier is wearing weightlifting shoes to give you a heel and allow you to go nice and deep. Most leg presses will round your back before that happens. The other modifier you might want to use is put some padding. Could be a foam mat, could be a roller, could be something underneath your lower back, as low on that pad as it goes. That means you're going to be able to lean back further, you're going to open up more range of motion at your knees, and you're going to be able to go deeper.
Leg press also fantastic because it smashes the quads, and if you kind of drive your knees out, you can get a lot of glute engagement too, and there's literally zero axial fatigue, so it's a lot less fatiguing. I think people with like lower back issues and stuff like that, leg press definitely should be in your repertoire. I do like the fact that he says most leg presses kind of suck, and that is very true. I know the one that I have at like my gym or whatever, the gym near my house, it's freaking dog shit, and I can only get like halfway down, which really sucks, because I think it's fantastic, but really, I mean, if you can't get that full range of motion, then it's not as good. So definitely, if you have the Arsenal leg press, that is, I would say, the best leg press in the game, even though I've never actually tried it. I've seen so many videos on it. So many guys are vouching for it, so I have to give it the best leg press in the game. So yeah, great exercise. I like it also how he mentions to put your feet lower on the platform so you can get more knee flexion. If you put your feet higher, you're going to get more hip flexion, so it's going to work the glutes more, but really, we're trying to train primarily quads, so love that tip from Mike. Great exercise.
All right, folks, our last exercise for today, and my top 5 most favorite currently at this time in my life quad exercises, is the belt squat. You need a belt squat to do the belt squat, but a belt squat is an excellent tool. What you want to do is make sure that if the belt squat doesn't feel super hard at the bottom and easy at the top, you want to put some mats underneath your feet if you have access to them to get that lever point up, so at the very bottom is where that squat is going to be the hardest. You're going to plug your belt in. You don't need a ton of weight for this, and you want to come up every time to about 2/3 of the way and come back down. That keeps the tension on the quads, racks up the metabolites in your legs, and really cooks the living fuck out of you in the best way possible, of course.
Belt squat, I actually have a belt squat at home as well. I think this is also freaking amazing because, like the leg press, there's literally like zero axial fatigue or compression on the spine, so it's a lot less fatiguing. And because the way the belt is, the weight is kind of positioned in front of you, so it puts even more tension on the quads and less on the glutes. So if you really want to smash your quads, this is definitely a great exercise. I like it how he also says You know, most belt squats have that lever arm, so you want to put platforms or things under it, so you can get more tension in the stretch. And I do this as well, and I think the belt squat is a freaking fantastic exercise. If you do it with the blocks and shit, if you don't, then it kind of hits the floor and then you only get halfway down. It's not as good. So if you put the blocks, definitely super sick exercises. Now, those were all the exercise he mentioned, but I would also like to bring up a couple more. I would also have to put the pendulum squat in here. I think that that thing is brutal, and I mean brutal in a good way, because it's gonna absolutely fire up your quads. Personally, for me, I like it more than a traditional hack squat. I just find because the weight moves in an arc, I don't know, it just feels better. You can move the platform or wherever, put your feet higher, lower. I think it's fantastic, and it really challenges you in that bottom range of motion. You can literally sink this thing to the ground. I freaking love it. So definitely would include the pendulum squat. And another exercise, I know Mike doesn't like this exercise in particular. I don't know, he doesn't feel it that well. The leg extension. I like the leg extension. I pretty much include it every leg day because it's going to also train that rectus femoris head. And the reason it doesn't really get trained on squats super, super well is because it crosses both the hip joint and the knee joint. So we want our hips to be in a fixed position in order for that rectus femoris head to stretch and contract. And that's exactly what the leg extension does. Now, if you don't like leg extensions, that's fine. Studies show that you can still get pretty good rectus femoris growth from squats, but I definitely think if you aren't doing leg extensions, it won't maximize that rectus femoris heads. Like, it won't maximize its growth. So those, I think he had some great exercises. The only one I'm not really too big of a fan of is a sissy squat, because it's harder to progressive overload, harder for beginners. It's a little bit more awkward. But other than that, I think he's got some great exercises. I'll have his video linked in the description where he discusses it in more detail than what I showed you. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.